Why you care too much about what people think, the hidden psychology of approval hook. What if I told you? Most of your anxiety doesn't come from your problems. It comes from imaginary conversations happening inside your own head. What if they laugh at me? What if they think I'm stupid? What if I fail? These questions silently control millions of lives every single day. People don't quit because they're incapable. They quit because they're afraid of being judged. But here's the shocking truth. Your brain was designed to seek approval. Yet in today's world, that ancient survival instinct has become one of the biggest obstacles to happiness. By the end of this video, you'll understand why you crave other people's approval, and more importantly, how Stoicism can help you break free forever. Introduction. Take a moment and think back to your childhood. How many times did you hear phrases like, "Behave," "Don't embarrass us," "What will people say?" Without realizing it, many of us grew up believing that our value depended on other people's opinions. We learned that being accepted meant being safe. Being rejected meant something was wrong with us. Thousands of years ago, this instinct actually kept humans alive. If you were rejected by your tribe, you could be left alone in the wilderness, and being alone often meant death. So your brain evolved to avoid rejection at almost any cost. But today, you're no longer trying to survive the wilderness. You're trying to survive comments, opinions, social media, and impossible expectations. Yet your brain still reacts as if every criticism is a threat to your survival. And that's where suffering begins. Part 1. Your brain is not your enemy. Here's something most people never realize. Your brain isn't trying to make you happy. It's trying to keep you safe. Those are two completely different goals. Safety prefers familiarity. Happiness often requires growth. Every time you want to start a business, speak in public, post your first video, ask someone out, or pursue a dream, your brain immediately asks, what if people reject you? Not because you're weak, but because your brain interprets uncertainty as danger. Psychologists call this negativity bias. Your mind naturally pays more attention to criticism than compliments. You could receive 100 positive comments, but the single negative one is the one you'll remember before going to sleep. Why? Because survival always prioritized threats. The Stoics understood this long before neuroscience existed. They believed the first emotional reaction isn't the problem. The problem is believing every thought your mind produces. A thought isn't reality. It's simply a thought. Learning that difference changes everything. Part 2. The invisible chains of approval. Imagine holding a puppet. Now imagine someone else is holding the strings attached to you. Every compliment lifts your mood. Every criticism pulls you down. Every ignored message makes you anxious. Every bit of praise makes you feel worthy again. Who is really in control? Most people believe they're making their own choices, but in reality, they're reacting to the emotions other people create. This is the hidden cost of seeking approval. You slowly hand over the steering wheel of your life. Think about how often you change your behavior depending on who's around. At work, you're one person. With friends, you're another. Online, you become someone else entirely. After a while, you no longer know which version is the real you. The Stoics believe that this is where inner conflict begins, not because you're pretending, but because you're constantly asking the wrong question. Instead of asking, "Is this the right thing to do?" you ask, "Will people approve of me if I do this?" Those two questions lead to completely different lives. One creates integrity. The other creates anxiety. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself that he wasn't born to satisfy the expectations of strangers. He was born to live according to reason and virtue. Imagine the freedom that comes from living by principles instead of applause. Because applause fades, principles remain. Part 3. Why other people's opinions feel so powerful. Let's do a simple thought experiment. Think of the most embarrassing moment you've ever experienced. Maybe you stumbled while giving a presentation. Maybe you said something awkward. Maybe you made a mistake in front of a crowd. Now ask yourself this: how many embarrassing moments from other people's lives can you clearly remember? Probably very few. And that's exactly the point. Everyone is the main character in their own story. They're far too busy worrying about themselves to spend much time thinking about you. Psychologists call this the spotlight effect. We overestimate how much attention other people pay to us. In reality, most people notice far less than we imagine. The conversation you replayed 100 times in your head, the other person probably forgot it before dinner. The mistake that kept you awake all night, most people never noticed it. The fear existed almost entirely inside your own mind. This realization is incredibly liberating. It doesn't mean people never judge. Of course they do. But their judgment is usually brief. Your suffering continues only because you keep replaying it. It's like hearing an echo in a canyon. The original sound lasted 1 second. The echo continues because the environment keeps reflecting it. Your mind works the same way. Someone says one hurtful sentence, then your mind repeats it for weeks, months, sometimes even years. The Stoics taught that you always have a choice. You cannot stop people from speaking, but you can stop giving their words permanent residence inside your mind. Every time you replay an old criticism, ask yourself, am I listening to reality or am I listening to an echo? That single question can interrupt the cycle of overthinking, because the greatest prison isn't another person's opinion. It's your decision to keep carrying it. Part 4. The Stoic method for breaking free. Imagine standing in the middle of a storm. The wind is strong, the rain is relentless. People around you are shouting different directions. One says, "You're not good enough." Another says, "You'll never succeed." Someone else laughs at your dreams. Most people spend their entire lives trying to silence the storm. But the Stoics chose a different path. Instead of controlling the storm, they learned to become the mountain. Think about that image for a moment. Storms come and go. The mountain remains. This is exactly how Stoicism teaches us to deal with criticism, not by avoiding it, not by fighting every opinion, but by becoming so grounded in your own values that outside noise loses its power. Epictetus divided life into 2 simple categories: things you can control and things you cannot. You can control your actions, your honesty, your discipline, your courage, your response, but you cannot control whether someone misunderstands you, whether people gossip about you, whether strangers approve of your choices. The moment you stop trying to control what isn't yours, you reclaim an incredible amount of mental energy. Imagine how much time you've spent replaying conversations that can never be changed. How many hours worrying about opinions that you cannot control. How many opportunities you've missed because you waited for everyone's approval. Now imagine redirecting all of that energy toward becoming wiser, stronger, kinder, more disciplined. That's the Stoic path, not perfection, progress. Part 5. Build your self-respect, not your reputation. Here's a question that might change your life. If nobody applauded your success, would you still do the right thing? If nobody noticed your kindness, Would you still choose kindness if nobody praised your discipline? Would you still wake up early and keep your promises? Your answer reveals what truly motivates you. Many people spend years building a reputation, but very little time building character. The problem is that reputation lives in someone else's mind. You don't own it. You never will. One rumor can damage it. One misunderstanding can change it. One viral post can destroy it. But character is different. It follows you everywhere. It cannot be stolen. It grows quietly through the small decisions nobody else sees. Every time you choose honesty over convenience, you strengthen your character. Every time you remain calm instead of reacting in anger, you strengthen your character. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, even when no one is watching, you strengthen your character. Marcus Aurelius wrote his private journal not because he wanted admiration. In fact, he never intended for the world to read it. He wrote to remind himself how to become a better human being. Not a more popular one, a better one. That distinction changes everything, because popularity depends on others, character depends on you, and unlike reputation, character stays with you long after applause fades. Conclusion. Here's the truth most people discover too late. No matter how carefully you live, someone will misunderstand you. Someone will criticize you. Someone will dislike you. And that's okay. Your purpose was never to collect universal approval. Your purpose is to become the kind of person who can sleep peacefully, knowing you acted with integrity. The Stoics didn't seek a life without criticism. They sought a mind that wasn't controlled by it. So the next time you catch yourself wondering, what will people think? Pause for a moment. Replace that question with a better one. Am I acting according to my values? Because at the end of your life, the opinions of strangers won't matter. But the person you became will. If this message helped you see yourself differently, type one word in the comments, character. Let it be a reminder that from today forward, you'll spend less energy protecting your image and more energy building your true self. And if you're ready to develop a calmer mind, stronger discipline, and the timeless wisdom of Stoicism, subscribe and join us for the next lesson. Remember, seek respect from yourself first. Everything else is just noise.